Representative Lauren Boebert believes that monkeypox has been made up to influence the midterm elections.
And we know exactly what causes this monkeypox, and they're not doing anything. No, actually, you're a bigot if you talk about it.
Right.
And I think it's interesting. We have midterm elections coming up, and suddenly there's a new health emergency from the federal government.
Okay, does she not understand what a health emergency declaration actually does? Honestly, no. The answer, of course, is clearly no. Here's what it does. It gives the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Xavier Becerra, more discretion in accessing additional funding. That's it. Funding and resources in order to deal with the outbreak, as the government's supposed to do, including personnel in order to combat the spread of monkeypox. It also allows for more testing. It funds more testing and increases the access to vaccines among especially the most vulnerable groups. Now, it's important to note, she says, well, if you talk about it, you're a bigot. Well, actually, it depends on how you talk about it. Now, right now, the most vulnerable groups here are healthcare workers, which is obvious, but also homosexual and bisexual men who have sexual relations with males. That's just how the numbers bear it out. Okay. Now, again, what's important to note here is that monkeypox is not an STI. But right now, the numbers are bearing out that those three groups are the most vulnerable. That doesn't mean other groups aren't. So now it just happens to be spreading the most quickly among those groups. However, monkeypox, anyone in close contact with a person who has monkeypox can get it, can spread it. And so according to the CDC, for example, monkeypox can spread to anyone through close, personal, often skin-to-skin contact, including direct contact with monkeypox rash, with the scabs, bodily fluids, or from a person that has monkeypox, touching objects, fabrics, clothing, bedding, towels, and surfaces that have been used by someone with monkeypox, and contact with respiratory secretions from, for example, prolonged face-to-face contact. A pregnant person can also spread monkeypox through to their fetus through the placenta. And so, look, it can also be spread, obviously, from contact with infected animals, scratched or bitten, or by preparing or eating meat or using products from the infected animal. And so there's different ways, but generally it is through touch. And so you have to be cautious, right? Now, finally, a person with monkeypox can also spread it to others from the time symptoms start until the rash is fully healed and a fresh layer of skin has formed. And that typically lasts, of course, about 2 to 4 weeks. So now that's important because it's important to tell people the facts. Okay. And so the reason, of course, that it's important to tell people the facts so that irrational fear does not take over. Okay. Now, there are reactionaries here. And again, she talks about the bigots, right? Oh, I can't talk about this without being a bigot. Well, again, it depends on the framing, right? And you can point out that fact and say, okay, here's how to protect yourself. But what Lauren Boebert and also Marjorie Greene have come out and said is, oh, it's a gay disease. No, it's not. Anyone can get it. I mean, you're literally redoing the AIDS thing. Again, Ronald Reagan actually refused to do a medical emergency for AIDS. Millions of people. I mean, they ended up getting this. And there wasn't treatment. He ignored it, the epidemic. And now these same Republicans want to do the same thing. And so, yes, this is a serious thing. Now, should everybody be afraid of it? No. Should everybody be cautious? Of course. Of course. But they're just segmenting it to, oh, it's the gays. So they are, by definition, doing bigotry. So let's be fair about that, because that's the reality of the situation. All right. So now, again, reactionaries are also claiming that people who don't want to know more about or who do want to know more about the virus so they can take precautions against contracting or spreading it, are only doing it out of fear, which again is pretty ironic. No, protecting yourself and your family, that's logical. You don't want to get it because it probably sucks. Who wants to deal with somebody like that with monkeypox? No. I mean, look, you have to stay home from work. You're not going to be able to make money. You can't touch anybody for like a month. No, it's ridiculous. It sounds very annoying to deal with. And yes, there are people that can even die from this. I don't want to deal with that. I got shit to do. Honestly, I don't want to get sick. And so, yes, I do want to protect myself. And I want to know the details of what, is how it spreads and how to best protect myself. And so it's called being smart, intelligent. It is not called being bigoted towards a group of people. Okay? But here's the thing. Boebert's a reactionary. She doesn't care about facts. She doesn't care about people protecting themselves. No, what she wants to do is spread conspiracy theories for her own political gain. And that's it. She also hates gay people. I also, as I mentioned, Marjorie Greene called it a gay disease. In fact, here's her quote on this, and it is absolutely disgusting. Quote, "Of course, monkeypox is a threat to some people in our population, but we know what causes it. It's basically a sexually transmitted disease, so it doesn't affect most of the population." That's what Marjorie Greene said. Now, that's factually wrong, but she doesn't even, that's not even the worst part of it. She said, quote, "People have to laugh at it, mock it, and reject it. It's another scam." Another scam. No, these people are gross. Now, is it likely to affect the majority of the population? Not necessarily. And you know what? If the government actually does their job the way that they're supposed to, then it won't affect the majority of the population. Because the government is supposed to protect the majority. And so that's what they're doing. This is what the emergency declaration is all about. It's literally their job. But of course, people like Marjorie Greene and Lauren Boebert, they don't care about their job. Because remember, they're also in Congress. They're also supposed to protect the American people, but they don't. And it pisses me off, and it should piss off everyone, the fact that they don't actually care enough about their fellow Americans to do their job. No, the only reason that they're there is to spread hate and division and to help themselves.